I will help you a little with another question, sir. You lived in Ireland for so many years before you relocated to, I mean, Canada, and you're still, touching both bases. There are a lot of people that went through the back of Africa right now to get to Ireland those days. Some of them, they were on Aduro, that kind of a thing, asylees and all of those. And a lot of people into Europe, different parts of Europe, through North Africa and all of those kind of things, and through the which sea is that? Is that the Mediterranean Sea? Now, those days are now. A lot of people go by flight now. What will you say, especially because our country has pushed a lot of people to desperation? You have mentioned people right now probably who are doing okay in Nigeria. That's not always all about survival, but they just want a better environment for their children. But the average Nigerian that wants to JAPA is that person that thinks that the only hope is to leave that country, as if there's a magic when they get to where they are going, the problems are solved. What will you say to such people? Even those who have status and class in Nigeria, you know that no matter how much they save up, most of them will still end up, like you said, they have to reskill, they have to upskill, they have to rebrand. That's what you said, more like reinventing themselves, even for the best of the best. So what will you say to that average Nigerian who the conditions have pushed them to desperation? Because most people, when they come around here, they do not have that status to have work authorization or to go to school immediately. They have to go through a process. They usually start from the bottom of the ladder and they climb the way up. But to that Nigerian who the situation has made desperate right now, what will you be saying to those?
So for someone who is hell-bent on traveling, it's a patient game. You have to retrain, you have to rebrand. Rome wasn't built in a day, and the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. So for someone who is trying to come, those are the things I probably tell them. How old are you? What are your immediate, intermediate, and long-term plans?
Does it matter the age, Dr. Dio?
To some extent.
How? Break it down.
The younger you are, you have mileage in your arsenal. You still can make use of time. You have not, but if time, because as a much older person, you have bag and baggages to carry. You are not thinking for yourself. You are a family person.
Like what age range?
I won't give specificity, but I probably say the older you are, somebody has to carry the burden of your soft landing before you make such move. Or you need to have done great homework. You have to be mentored, guided to cover those mileage, family size. Let's give it arbitrary figures. You are 52. You're just making planning. You have 4 children. Good it is, you're not going to be retired at 60. You have 80 years to achieve things. Is it worth it? Your kids will benefit really. But some will tell you, okay, so take it from another perspective. You could also see someone who is 25 and be illegal in the system for 15 years. So he has wasted 15 productive years and he now starts from 40. So if somebody is 52, 48, and they've really helped him or her in settling, but you can't be at that age and just be going in isolation. A lot of homework will have been done. What's your background? What field are you? Are you going to retrain? What sort of job do you want to pick up? The greatest thing when you get abroad is not what you eat, the roof you have over your head.
Wow. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay.
Let me now ask, you said you are passionate about JAPA. I made a joke about someone who got to, it was actually America, and he told the host, this is heaven, no? You understand? And I have worked and related with people who feels like, people think that this abroad is a shine thing, like it's class. It is a kind of elevation. It's as if we and them, we versus them, that once you migrate and you are living in diaspora, maybe it makes people have this superiority complex, maybe because of the poverty in our country. Not knowing that most of the people here, if we look at first class, second class, or first rated or second rated citizens, even though no human being should be classified as such, they are at the bottom of the ladder. But because of our exchange rate, no matter your level here, you know, when you go back home, the money makes sense. Other than that, I used to say not more than 10% of us, even though we are the most educated, it's just a small percentage of us. We are not even in the upper. The best most of us are, even professionals, we are still somewhere in the lower middle, not even in the middle. Because it's very difficult to see anyone among us that is earning, 8 digits. Anything above $1 million or anything above £1 million. Even the best of us that we say are like professionals, maybe 6 figures annually, 100 and something, 200 and something of the currency where they are, so double 6 digits, which is like poverty of the worst poverty in Nigeria. What will you say concerning JAPA, because our country is the way it is now? Are we going to be lost forever? You have worked with people, several of them, that think by saying that they don't want to go to that, we are all frustrated about Nigeria. The person that is not frustrated must have a lot of shock absorber more than all of us. But are we giving up on our country so bad that we came here? So someone like me, I'm an economic migrant. I have to be sincere about it. It was a situation of things. Some people, they came when they were younger, they studied, they love this place, they stayed. What is the future of our own land when our children are hearing that their parents are not going back? See what is happening in America today. People are getting deported, of course, for paperwork and other things. At best, we are still minorities. Minorities with the burden of being immigrants. Who is going to fix our country? Is it our parents? Because if we are uprooted, what's going to happen to our children? No place to call home. So people passionately hate Nigeria now. They are not just frustrated. And it's a kind of sophistication, a negative sophistication that is going on among our own generation. I'll talk about it, let's say, between the 40 to the 60, 65s, which that middle ages. Very crazy. Because people are not remembering that this thing is looking like 10, 15, 20 years. It's going to get to 50, 100, and we look back. And we see the total disconnect. What is your own position on JAPA personally and generally, finding ourselves where we are today, that our country has pushed us out? Somebody said JAPA is not running, it is fleeing. It's not escaping, it's fleeing, running from problem. What will you say about that?
Before somebody JAPA, it has to be planned.
Planning.
But I'll tell you realities and practicalities, because every night you sleep, you ponder over this. You've gone out. The time we left, there was no desperation. Options were there. We left easily, effortlessly. Now, I'll tell you this. I always do this observation. I have only one. In Nigeria, we have 3 major ethnic groups: Hausa, Igbo, and Yorubas. I have only one Hausa friend.
Wow.
It speaks volume. All what we, the Westerners, does. We'll realize that maybe from where I come from, we constitute the highest proportion of travelers, despite that the Easterners also travel and business-minded. Nigeria today, you'll see the Northerners, they feed on Nigerians' wealth there. They don't travel. If you come there, they get themselves educated, there's positions for them. So it shows that, just like the animal kingdom, not all animals are equal.
Some are more equal than others.
Exactly, that's aside. And I tell you another scenario. Let's take Lagos as an example. Many people travel. It's many people's wishes that, if I travel, I just need that passport. I don't want to come and be hustling. That's another level of thinking. If you have entrepreneurial skills, daily earnings, that Nigerian setting is enough for you to get what you want. But not all of us are there. Somebody will tell you, obstetric and gynae, because you love the job, somebody has to do it. Some people don't have business acumen. and they. So it comes back to that question, JAPA. You've been here for 20 years. You are planning. You won't be able to go back until you're sort out like your last child. And when you came in at 30, you're now 50. Friends have changed. Some of your friends have left. So it's a lot of planning. A lot of planning. And governance have changed. A lot of things have changed in the system. So it's a tough question to ask. I think to answer really. But despite I wish and I know that you always desire because you want to plan for your time. Oh, you're 60,
Absolutely.
you're 65, you're 70. Where do you want to stay? Are
Wonderful.
your kids ready to go with you? Is it your planning alone? As you have to plan as a family.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you, Doc. Dr. Dio, one of our viewers is asking a question here. Leke Olayefu says, what will be your advice to potential JAPAs considering the effects of our poor leadership engagements? What's your answer to that, Doc?
If you are in Nigeria and you can lay your hands on things that are productive, entrepreneurship, I still tell you, you might be better off. I mean, you might be better off. There is nowhere there is no corruption. The mindset of some people abroad is that there's corruption everywhere. Those leaders just have the mindset of their country at hand, infrastructure. They have projections for their country. But for someone that says, okay, you could get abroad if you're not legitimate or legal in the system. You just be jumping from one. And it also depends on your background. A lot of things. Are you ready to retrain? Are you ready to what work is available? And just like I said, it's not the food that you want to eat. You talk of roof over your head. You talk of being properly connected. And you could be lucky. You start making millions or a lot of things in a short while. If you are properly connected, opportunities abound. Both abroad and in Nigeria.
So it's the person has to think of it holistically. That's what you are saying.
Exactly. If you're a family man, you have to settle everybody. You can't just be thinking of moving in batches. It takes a toll on you. And before you know it, years have gone by.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc. I will take us back to Africa because this program is very Africa-centric. I've told people, in the first place, you can see that that's what they say here. They say your tongue is strong. And I see that thing as an insult. I'm talking the way God created me. Somebody will say my tongue is strong. Okay, let me accept with them today. My tongue is strong.
You have an accent. That's what they will say.
Yes, I'm coming there. If I am speaking like this, that's my own accent. Even the ones that think they are talking the way they are talking, that's their accent. I keep saying if I want to talk like them, I'm going to bite myself, and that will not be fine because I'm too old. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So part of this thing is leading me to my question on colonial mentality, relegating our originality, demonizing everything that is original to us as Africans. What is your view on this? Or have you been so westernized that you can't connect with our roots again? That colonial mentality, what's your view on what that has done to us and how it has changed who we are and our space completely? I'm not talking of the fact that we cannot embrace modernization or modern technology, but that is things we see physical. But the mentality, are you getting me? And in our own setting in Africa, what's your opinion on that?
I'll relate this to Nigeria. Going back to memory lane, we were colonized by the British.
Correct.
Yeah, and colonization brings the intent was to bring some form of civilization, Christianity, and trade, which probably people would say commerce. Now we see now that we've embraced that, how are we impacting it? I, for one, I'm not the type that would probably say, okay, let's look at it on common basis. Language, you probably you've westernized, you start speaking English. That's one of the advantages of what we got from that. And probably in your house, you now say your children you can't speak your native language. We are all victims of this. You just
Wow.
have no choice. Because if your kids can learn your language or know about your language, it goes a long way. So that's one of the things. You don't want to sidetrack your own language at the expense of what you've learned from colonization or westernization. Same thing, dressing. I recently saw Demola Lokman. If you're a sport fan at it, he came in to collect his African best football, and he came in a native attire, which is a
Yeah,
great one. He could have come in suits.
absolutely. I
Yeah,
remember. I saw that too. Wow.
he could have come in suits. So at times you are in, well, you don't delegate or degenerate or put aside your own culture or whatever you've gained at the expense of westernization. You blend the two together
That's
because that's the edge you have. It's only
right.
when I traveled that's when I knew the value of myself as a Nigerian.
Tell us
We
about
go
it.
abroad. Yeah, I mean, each time I'm a proud Nigerian, and I always say it anywhere I go. At my place of work, you see, and most especially, even the females, when you get to anywhere and you say this is a Nigerian, they want to know a lot of things. Are you married to a Nigerian? There are a lot of many. The first thing they will tell you that one, we are the advocates of our other Africans abroad. We speak for them. They know the confidence is there. Not only the confidence, the brain is there. You don't negotiate. When they give an African, maybe a Ghanaian, I'm sorry to have mentioned Ghanaian, other countries,
Right.
any amount of money in a deal or a job, a Nigerian will come out and negotiate what he or she knows he deserves, not out of desperation. They
Right.
know that we have it. They were most fields, health, technology, sports. I mean, look at our Nollywood. When I was in Gambia, that's when I valued our Nollywood. Each time
Hmm.
I worked in the Royal Victoria Hospital, one of the biggest hospital over there,
Wow.
and I knew what I was earning was 4 times what I was earning in Nigeria.
Wow.
Live was there. We were using mobile phone there before, and I wasn't using in Nigeria. So, but to tell you about things, people were looking at us as, what have you come to do in this country? Because they look at Nigeria as London.
Hmm. Wow.
That's in Africa, and that's how it cuts across the western axis of Africa. People
Yeah.
look at you, and when even you get abroad, the health system, Canada, West Africa, I mean, Canada, Ireland, most of our people are doing pretty well there. I'm not
Absolutely.
saying there are some other people drawing back in terms of
Right.
drugs,
Right.
corruption, few things, but you always have a few, red herrings or Judas among them.
Right. Wow. Very, very awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dayo Taiwo.